Welcome back, guys. We leave for a week. Seems like the whole world's going crazy, so we're going to go right into the main topics.
Yeah.
First, we got the Kendrick concert in Toronto.
Yeah, I heard this guy had to slash his ticket prices just to get the stadium full.
How do people actually go to a concert that's dissing your entire city, if not your entire country?
Yeah, they're like them.
Next, we got this Israel-Iran conflict.
Yeah, this could be the beginning of another forever war.
Looks like, yeah, I don't know. It seems like the entire West is aligned this time, though, with backing Israel, and there is no backing for Iran. But everyone had thoughts on it, from Trump to UK to even Carney. So we might as well talk about it as well. Then the No Kings protest.
Yeah, what is this thing? Are they just trying to ruin Trump's birthday?
This thing's gone worldwide, apparently. It's not just in the US. It's in Germany, France, Mexico, Canada. Like, what are you guys protesting? Is he your president? Next, the G7 summit is taking place in Alberta.
Yeah, does anything really get done at these things, though?
I don't know. But it's more of a bigger deal this year, it seems like it, mainly because of these tariffs.
Yeah, they're just going to get together and be like, Trump, don't tariff us.
Last, we got Google seems to be fading.
Yeah, is Google done?
I don't know, but it seems like more people are using ChatGPT. What do you guys use?
I still use it.
Right.
In sports, we got SGA. Might have had his signature moment. Came up pretty clutch last night. The Core 4 era might officially be over in Toronto.
Yeah, I feel like the grass isn't always greener, right? I don't know who's out there.
We'll see who's out there in free agency. LeBron kind of went viral a bit, saying that people think online he doesn't have a bag.
I mean, does he have a bag, though? I saw him talking about it, but...
About 50 billion points. And he also put something out on his Instagram about him potentially hinting at retirement.
I mean, it's the finals. He's not in it, right? So we have to talk about LeBron. So he dropped that in there.
Yeah.
So for off topic, we'll talk about the dusting trend, Ashton Hall, and a couple other things.
And stay tuned for the question segment at the end.
So, the Kendrick concert.
Yeah.
So this thing happens in Toronto, and everyone knew he was gonna sing "Not Like Us."
Obviously, he was gonna.
But there's a stadium full of people. Here's a clip of them singing along.
So happy though. Hey, talk about you guys.
This too. I think that was on the first night. Asking for an encore.
So they were struggling to sell seats to this thing originally, right? And then they dropped the price, I think 40-50%, something like that. And then they sold them out.
Yeah, I think they dropped from like a couple hundred. Yeah. They were like $500-600. And then they were going for like 200.
Yeah, and then you also, I feel like you got to remember that he's co-headlining this thing with SZA. It's
That's
not
the
just
thing.
him, right? Yeah. And people are trying to make it seem like Kendrick sold out the Rogers Center when it's like, there's two of them. Yeah. SZA's a pretty massive appeal. She has a broad audience, no?
Huge.
Was it sold out?
Yeah, it was sold out.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I saw online like a bunch of people were saying that he's the first artist to ever do it, which is wrong.
To sell it out?
Yeah, to sell at the Rogers Center, because it's a big venue, right? It seats like 50,000-60,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Taylor Swift sold it out like just recently, like 6 times. Like, that shit was massive.
Yeah,
I think her show was like what? There was like buses going downtown. Like none of that was happening here. I think Diljit did it last year.
Oh, he sold it out.
Yeah, he sold it out.
Yeah, a lot of artists sell it out.
Beyonce did it in 2023. Yeah. And then even rapper, they're saying that he's like, the biggest rapper to do it. I think Jay-Z did it with Justin Timberlake in like 2013.
Yeah, and then Jay-Z and Beyonce, they did it too.
Oh, yeah, them too, yeah.
So like a lot of people have done it. I think the only thing is that Drake hasn't done it.
Yeah, I wonder what that is. But I think it's because he just has like a partnership with Scotiabank.
Yeah.
You even remember for his last tour. They
Yeah,
called it the
yeah.
OVO Arena
Yeah.
or something like that.
Oh,
and they
okay, yeah,
changed it
yeah.
all.
They did.
I think it has something to do with like his connection with the
Yeah.
Raptors.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
his
He's their
Scotiabank.
ambassador or whatever. right?
Yeah,
That's
I
probably
don't
what
think
it is.
that like I feel like if he wanted to, he could sell it out.
For
Like,
sure.
I don't-
for sure. He
Right?
can definitely sell it
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Like if all these guys are selling it out, how couldn't he in his
Yeah.
prime? He could sell it out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I do think it's just some like logistical legal reason that he's not. But like there's even been times in his career where he's like said, "Oh, next year OVO Fest will be at like Rogers Center, like Sky Dome."
Mm.
Never happened.
I always forget what they're called in the Rogers Center. I still call it
'cause
Sky
they use the
Dome.
name.
Even Air Canada Center, I was so
Yeah.
used to that for so long.
Yeah.
But what are you guys' thoughts on this whole thing? Like, would you guys go to this concert? What do you guys think about people going to it?
Like, I don't know. I think specifically if you're from Toronto, it's kind of corny knowing the lyrics, like what he's saying, right? I can understand if you're a Kendrick fan
Yeah.
Yeah,
to want to go to the concert, that's fine too.
yeah.
It's weird. It's also SZA, right? She could probably sell out an arena on her own.
Maybe.
I think that's a huge name. I
yeah,
mean,
she just came for a tour at Scotiabank,
Yeah,
and that's obviously last, but she
Mm.
sold that.
she sold that out, right?
Mm. I mean, to me, I feel like it's not just Toronto. I feel like it's Canada.
Yeah.
Right? Like superstars, like Canadian superstars, they're so rare, right? Whether
Mhm.
it's in sports, whether it's in music, right? There have been some, right?
Yeah.
Like even in the hip hop space, I think you had Cardinal, Claire, right? Chaos, like Crab in
Yeah.
the Bucket, or Rascals.
Yeah.
You know, in Japan they're crying,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be there. So you've had some, right? And then more recently, I think you had Nav, Weekend, right? But none of these guys are Drake,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, The Weeknd's a massive name.
no, he's massive, but he came after Drake, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's done Drake numbers to this day.
Yeah.
Right. I even saw some stuff about like SGA, how like some clips of him when he was in like high school and he's like dancing and people are
Yeah.
like, look how zesty he is, right?
Yeah.
It's a kid dancing when he's like 16, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the guy's a positive role model. He's a good father. It seems
Mhm.
like he's a good husband. He's always talking about his family, right?
Yeah.
So like my whole take on this thing is that like if somebody like Drake doesn't give you a reason to,
Yeah.
why are you gonna jump on the hype train and shit on a Canadian artist, right?
Yeah.
Like unless he gave you a reason, right? Like this is all just
Or
hearsay
that
what
you're
Kendrick is
an
saying.
actual fan. Like you haven't been a big Kendrick fan,
No,
right?
I haven't been a big Kendrick fan,
Yeah,
right? And I
you've been
remember
a big Drake fan,
me.
Yeah.
I'm like a moderate Drake fan.
like a normal Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like when I heard Not Like Us for the first time, I was like, oh, banger track, like I'm
Yeah,
listening
yeah,
to the diss track. And then when you hear him say D Rose, I'm glad D Rose came back home. Y'all didn't deserve him neither.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You think he's talking about Drake? He's
Yeah.
talking about Toronto Raptors,
Yeah.
right? And that there's one Canadian basketball team, the Toronto Raptors. Y'all
Yeah.
didn't deserve him. That means we didn't deserve him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And then like I've given DeRozan his flowers numerous times.
Yeah.
I think he put on for the city while he was here.
For sure.
Like and we kind of soured that relationship
Yeah.
on this side, but then he doubled down doing this shit. So
Yeah.
there is a little bit of sour taste
Mm.
on both sides of it, right? But then if you're gonna say something like that, people are like, no, it's just for Drake's click. No, man, he's
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
the country, right? Now it fits his narrative to sell seats. So now he's saying that it's just, or he's not emphasizing that it's against Canada,
For sure.
right? But like I don't know, that's my take on it, right? Like if you have Canadian superstars and legends, right? Like we have one Shea in the making, right? Like
Yeah.
MVP, if he wins a chip, Finals MVP, superstar, right?
Mhm.
Why would you start jumping in on hating on him,
Yeah.
right? Unless he give you a reason to, right?
Yeah.
Are you saying that just these fans attending Drake and SZA, they're hating
Yeah, I
just
think
by
so.
attending the
Yeah,
concert?
I think so.
The ones that are just
Really?
jumping on the trend.
Yeah.
right?
So like to me, okay, then
Not like actual Kendrick fans.
I
or
think even
SZA.
actual Kendrick fans,
Mhm.
right? Because like the way I would look at it is like, okay, if you have a friend, right, who you're really close with, right, and that friend has a problem with somebody who like you're not that tight with, but you kind of knew,
Yeah.
right? Would you continue talking to that person if they have like serious beef, or would you be like, nah?
You got to pick a side. Is what you're saying.
That's different though, because that's personal.
Yeah.
I don't personally know Drake or Kendrick.
Yeah, but that's like it to me, right? That's an easy out because if somebody's shitting on the country that you're from or the city that you're from, right? Like if this was reversed and this was happening in LA and Drake won this beef, he would never be able to do this.
I've even heard the argument like if it was Winnipeg, if it was Edmonton or something,
Mm.
right? Even in Canada, Montreal.
Mm.
It's just you're doing it in his city, right?
There's also that people like to make it seem like, oh, well, he came and he walked in. You guys didn't do shit. This guy had a police escort as big as Taylor Swift's, right?
Yeah.
There's like 30, 40 cop cars with him, right? That's what every artist does these days. They shut down the street. That OVO thing. I think we have a picture of one of the flyer that there's supposed to be some, there's supposed to be some right. So there's supposed to be some like OVO takeover event or something.
They were like organizing this, like come outside of the concert venue and play Drake and get free pizza and free OVO merchandise. But it got shut down like right away. There wasn't even that many people there.
I saw a clip of this too. There was like 7 people. It was a very small crowd. It looked pretty sad, honestly.
I honestly, like, you don't want to incite violence or anything, right? So
that
like,
was the reason.
So they're gonna shut it down. Like, what more do you expect, right? Like,
all of it was kind of dumb too. Even every artist that goes there has an escort. People are like, "Oh, look at Kendrick. He was scared. He ran off to New York after."
Yeah.
They like we saw Taylor Swift's motorcade, right? They all have the same thing: police presence. Nothing's gonna happen. Everyone knew he was gonna perform the song. Obviously, he was going to. Yeah,
I mean, my disappointment is just with like I had friends and I know people that were at this concert.
Yeah.
And personally, to them, I was like, "Why are you going?" Like, I've always been a Kendrick fan. I was like, "You're a loser," right? Like, because to me, it's like if somebody talks like since I've been a kid, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, like. Cardinal Official, right? Shot Claire, like these are names you see, right? And then you see Drake, right? And it's not even like Drake was like top 5, top number 1.
Yeah.
Selling out arena everywhere. It lasted for 5-10 years. When this guy's gone, it's not coming back.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Forget about Biebs.
Justin Bieber, but he's not like in the hip hop space, right? And I feel like there's a part of like hip hop culture that has always hated on it because he's Canadian a little bit, right? So seeing that, like, I'm not gonna double down unless like Drake actually did something that was like heinous or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool, right? He's doing some shit that I can't respect. I'm off of that, right? But like everybody switches up, everyone puts on for their city, everyone's always representing the people that come up from where they live, and then we don't. Why? So if you're at in my perspective, if you're at the Kendrick concert, you don't support Toronto. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, I see that perspective. I kind of see both perspectives. A lot of people go, "Yo, I've been a fan since day one," right? The weird part is like, did you see all those people like singing? Where were they at the Chinese restaurant?
Yeah, because they were saying that they were there not even for Not Like Us. They were just there for regular Kendrick music, right?
Yeah.
But then this. These are the kind of people that went.
Look at that dance.
I think mostly the crowd was a lot of younger.
Yeah, for sure.
Even like real fans.
Even there's just people that are trying to enjoy their dinner. Yeah, I think this was the restaurant in the music video or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that. But this part's like kind of corny, right?
I think like people just get caught up in this like they come off of a concert, you know, you have a couple of drinks there, you don't want to go home, you end up with some stupid restaurant, you start singing dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
Like to me, I don't know, man.
I think for me, like, I don't think of it that deep. You're a Kendrick fan, you could be a Drake fan, you could be both.
Yeah, I don't think
Go
it's
to
like
it, not go to it.
disrespect to the city or anything.
But
like
I get what you're saying, but I just don't think of it that deep.
Like if I'm Drake, I think this had to have like affected him, right? He wouldn't have expected. Like everyone's saying, if this was when this is LA, when Drake performs, it's not going to sell out.
I don't think that's true. I think it will sell out.
I think so too.
I think it's just a wave, and people are just trying to look.
I think he needs to eventually get away from the song too. How many years are you going to keep singing this?
Yeah, eventually it's going to fade away.
It's sick though. Even when you were playing with it or playing it, I started like singing it too. It's a very catchy song.
No, the song did its thing. It's won awards, right? He's won a lot of awards.
It's annoying. It's too much now.
Yeah, like it's.
I'm over it.
Yeah,
I think everyone is, right? I'm just gonna double down. Anyone who is supporting Kendrick,
That's fair,
right? Like to me, I think it's bitch behavior. That's what I think. Because like to me, like the way that I am in life, if somebody gives me one reason to do that, right? Where like even if it's like if it's you're my brother, right?
Yeah.
If somebody is even going to say something remotely that's disrespectful to you, right away I'm on this side. I'll ask him what was wrong and who's right, ethics and stuff later, right? Like I'm here, right? And that's you, but I would do the same with a friend. I'm not going to be like, oh, hold on, let's analyze the situation. We'll analyze it in a minute, right? But this, to me, it is a little bit bigger. It's your city, right? Like, watch, there's not going to be that many Drakes, just like there's not that many LeBrons, just like there's not going to be that many SGAs. They come around, they leave, and there's not that many of them, right? And then while they're here, you want to shit on them, and then you won't have another Toronto artist come out and do what?
Like, I agree with you that, like, having Drake as a significant artist for the city that only comes around once in a while, but he doesn't own Toronto, and you can be from Toronto and not like him.
You can, but if somebody's on my take, if somebody's on a stage saying they not like us, right, and you're like, they not like us, he's talking about you, you're they.
That's so weird.
Maybe those people aren't interpreting the song as he's saying it towards the city or the country. I think they're
non-Kendrick
as OVO crew is not like us. And then he goes on to mention
he does go on to mention them, but if he kept it to just Drake, then I feel like that's a warranted opinion, right? But the second you involve DeRozan and you start saying y'all didn't deserve him neither, and you take it there, then you're talking about Toronto, you're talking about Canada.
And he makes fun of the accent. I think that accent's weird too. But.
And then why it even gets there and why it becomes a movement is because when you saw all these people walking and stuff in LA, in California, basically all across the US, right? What were they doing? Right, it's a movement because you've created a team.
Haven't we all walked in our life once?
No, that's fine. But like, how do you like manipulate? How do you manipulate a massive amount of people? Right, like you
wedding.
You manipulate them by creating a movement, which you make them pick a side, right? So then he made somebody pick a side, and on our side, we're like, we're open. You can come in and do whatever the hell you want.
No, I was never a crazy Kendrick fan, so if I had to pick between the two, I would obviously pick Drake. I mean, Mad City was a good album.
I mean, like, to me, like,
Mad City was the only one I liked.
I mean, if there's any rapper right now in the US, if they start shitting on Canada, even if I'm a big fan of that rapper,
boycott.
Yeah, I'm not boycotting them. Like, I'm not a crazy left lunatic, right?
Fam.
But I'm just saying. All right, man. We'll just move on. All right, man. Let's move on to Israel, Iran. So this conflict escalated quickly. Here's a clip of Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu talking about Israel's perspective.
Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program.
I think we understand here that this conflict's kind of been brewing for a little while, right? They've been fighting proxy wars, right? And I feel like Iran sees Israel as a key adversary because they kind of align with the West, and Israel sees the threat of Iran's nukes. And you also got that they back Hezbollah and Hamas, right? So obviously that's been building for a while. That's why the proxy wars have been going on or whatever, right? And then Israel launches airstrikes to what they claim is nuclear sites. And then Iran responds with missile strikes. Which penetrated Israel's Iron Dome. Right? And then we're kind of here. right?
Yeah, it was mainly centered around that, right? They're worried about nukes, right?
Yeah, that's why you see most of the West is aligning with Israel here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Nobody, because I think even the casualties, I think in Israel, it was, I think 3 civilians, 3 or 4 people died.
Yeah, it was 3 Israeli casualties.
And then in Iran, I think it was something around 73, 74, something like that.
In Iran, there was 78 Iranian senior commanders, scientists, and civilians. 320 injured. So it was targeted, but it was pretty successful attack. They got some high-ranking officials. They got a lot of the scientists that do develop their nukes. So
I mean, Bibi's been talking about the nuclear development there for a while now, right? This is nothing new, right? And even the US and a lot of the West, Canada, Europe, they kind of been trying to convince Iran to come to the table with some sort of nuclear deal, right? And then I think we saw China basically come out, and they were the only ones, one of the ones that were like for Iran, obviously, because then that's kind of also their proxy war, right? They were like, they have the right to defend their sovereignty. And basically most other nations went, the Western nations went with Israel, and they were like, Israel has every right because of the nukes and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think we have Canada, where they stand, was Mark Carney posted on X, and he said, Iran's nuclear program has long been a cause of grave concern, and its missile attacks across Israel threaten regional peace. Today, I convened our National Security Council to receive an update on the situation and to ensure that all necessary steps will be taken to protect our national and our diplomatic missions in the region. Canada reaffirms Israel's right to defend itself, and to ensure its security, we call on all parties to exercise maximum restraint and move towards a diplomatic resolution.
Okay, that's interesting. He said he reaffirmed their right to defend themselves, because Bibi pretty openly was kind of talking. Even Carney recently, he was saying, right, that you guys back Iran a lot of the time, or they impose the sanctions on.
Yeah, that's what happened. So
Israel.
so Canada, UK, a few other countries, I think
France.
New Zealand, Australia, there's like 4 or 5 of them. They all imposed sanctions on 2 Israeli cabinet ministers, and then the US comes out, they condemn all of this, right? And then you had Bibi come out and he said what you were saying, right? And also, I don't know if you guys remember, Canada was one of the ones that were saying that they would arrest Bibi.
When the ICC put out a warrant, right?
They were one of the first ones to say that they would do it. But I think that was Trudeau.
That was Trudeau,
it was before Carney anyways. But so then you see Canada kind of aligned with much of Europe, and the U.S. was kind of playing in the middle for a little while there. Right? But even a lot came out about this attack when Israel launched them on Iran. That the U.S. already knew about it, right? It wasn't something, and I think Bibi even flat out said it. He's like, we told the U.S. what was going to happen there.
I mean, I don't think they're openly going to come on and say it, but I don't think anyone on the West is necessarily going to have a problem with this, right?
Why would you?
Yeah. Obviously, nobody wants like death or anything, but Iran, everyone's worried about their positioning in terms of like nukes and
I mean, we all saw what happened with Iraq and Afghanistan with WMDs, right? They went into there and basically none, right? They found nothing, right? So people still have that kind of fresh in their minds. And then, but like when you look at that, when you look at Iran, though, a lot of people believe that these guys have had some sort of a uranium enrichment program going on there, that they're developing some sort of nukes. They've been doing it for a while. And why would you, it doesn't matter if you're west, east, north, south, it doesn't matter where you're from. Why would you want a country like Iran to have nuclear weapons?
For sure.
Why?
But you know what's scary about the attack? Like they said it's targeted. So they're targeting these plants with nuclear material. Isn't that dangerous? Like the radiation could escape? It could cause more casualties to the civilians.
Well, potentially, but I don't think they had them developed there.
Yeah, I think that's like it wasn't like fully developed to a point where that would have happened, right?
Yeah,
and I don't even know if they're holding the stuff where they attacked. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it seems like they were going for like the scientists and commanders and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's more so than the equipment. I don't think they're at the place where, if they were at a place where they had like nukes ready to go
They
buried in the
wouldn't do
ground,
that.
then it's a dangerous situation,
Yeah,
because
for sure.
even if
what
they
you're saying.
tried, that's a press of a button and the nukes are off.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. I don't think they would have done
So
that.
how did they know that there weren't actual nukes there?
Well, they have military surveillance, right? They've been surveilling these things for years, right?
Yeah.
Even he said in the clip, he's like their main concern was within the next 3 years they
Yeah.
would be fully developed, right?
Hmm.
That's what they were worried about. But the other thing, that he said right at the beginning of the clip, he's like, this war is going to continue as long as possible.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that? Could the U.S. be dragged into another forever war
I mean, at this point, what option do you kind of have?
if you're Israel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even if you're Israel, even if you're the US,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if they were going to develop nukes and you let them,
Yeah.
what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Right? Like you're going to let Iran have nukes,
Yeah.
right? Like it's crazy,
Scary country to give that
Yeah.
power to. Yeah.
right?
for sure.
But, like even Turkey, who Erdogan, like they obviously are going to back Iran, right?
Yeah.
Even them, like they'll say things like you need to bring them to the table with a nuclear deal, right?
Yeah.
I think even Qatar obviously is going to back Iran,
Yeah.
right? But like, there's a lot of common sense, right? Like that's like, hey man, like let's get rid of the nukes here
For sure.
and like stop this, right? But like, I don't know, man. I think the other part of this that's a little wild is that I was just thinking this doesn't have anything to do with the severity of it. Isn't it a little crazy that you just have all these people tweeting on X now? Like it's just posting on X.
Right?
World leaders, like it doesn't matter who it is, right? Like at first you would think it's just Trump.
Yeah.
Now it's every president, every prime minister, something happens.
Yeah. Trump just started the trend.
Yeah.
There's just
Now
immediate
everyone's like,
reactions
oh,
to
he's
it.
doing
Even with this, he said something. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, I warned them. It's been 60 days. I'm trying to get a deal
Yeah,
done with
yeah.
Iran.
Yeah.
Look what happened now. Like,
I feel like we move like even to the posting thing. I saw there's this Iranian or military of Iran account or something that everyone keeps like reposting.
oh,
And I saw it on World Star even posted it, like Iran's like we have arrived or whatever, and there's like bow and arrow like emojis or whatever.
okay, yeah,
So I was like, what is this, right? So then I quickly went on Twitter to see like what it was, if it's actually real.
yeah,
And then I saw the community notes and they're like, this isn't an official Iranian military account,
no
right?
way,
So like, it's not that they can't be using it that way.
yeah.
But who even knows if it's an official account? And then people just
It's hard to tell
overreact
what's
to certain-
propaganda, what's what,
right? And then, but yeah, to me, I find it really crazy that everyone just puts these things out on Twitter, that's how fast the news cycle is now. If something happens on Monday, right? Gone are the days where it's like, we're going to have a press briefing about
Yeah,
this on
yeah, yeah.
Thursday afternoon.
already fully tweeted
Yeah.
about
That's
it.
the world we live in
Yeah.
now, and now add AI to it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Even more confusing. This guy's plate's full, man.
I mean, to me, I feel like to end it with this thing, I think there's two sides to this. One is the nukes for sure, right?
Yeah.
Two is these guys have been having the proxy war. So is there a part of it where Israel's using this as their opportunity to have an attack? I'm sure there
For
is,
sure,
right?
yeah.
But then there's also the regime in Iran, right?
Mhm.
Which I feel like there's been reports that 60% of Iranians want a regime change, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't know where those numbers come from. I don't know who the hell they poll.
Yeah.
I don't know how
I
the
saw the
polling
same
data-
thing around
right?
70%.
Which you never know, but I was at the barbershop getting my haircut the other day, and my barber's Iranian, right? And I asked him, I was like, what do you think about this whole thing?
Yeah.
Right? And he goes to me, he's like being from Iran, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want the country to get completely bombed and decimated,
yeah.
right? But he's like, we've been wanting a regime change there forever.
I mean, I want a regime change here.
This isn't Iran, bro.
Yeah.
You still have freedoms here, man. But like, who knows, man? I feel like this thing's gonna escalate a little bit until like cooler heads prevail. But
Yeah,
like,
and it's gonna take a while. That's for sure.
I feel like by the time this pod even drops, Israel could have responded,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens there. Let's move on to this No Kings protest.
Yeah. I still don't fully understand what the hell this thing is about.
So this was a nationwide protest, right? It's held on June 14th, which is Donald Trump's birthday. If you guys
man,
know.
they're trying to crash Donnie's party.
Pull up the map that shows where these protests were being held.
Damn.
So if you see the scale of this thing, it's pretty much across the entire country.
Filling up California nicely.
The East Coast. Look at the East
Parts
Coast
of Mexico.
Yeah, and then
Mexico too, yeah.
right? Like, what's that? What are these little places? Like, you see a couple of places in
Look at the center. That's the only empty place.
right?
And Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah, but Nevada's a massive desert. What is that? That has to be Vegas. That one dot, right?
I wonder what the stars mean.
But yeah,
Like those are the big ones.
Those are big protests. But yeah, it's all over the place. Over 2,000, around 2,000 cities or places.
yeah. I'll get into the numbers in a second, but like they were essentially doing this as like a pushback against what these organizers are calling authoritarianism.
Okay.
For Trump, basically.
Yeah.
They're saying that he's a dictator, kind of, right? And they're pushing back against that. And apparently this entire movement grew from this thing called 50-51,
Okay.
right? It's a 50 protests, 50 states, one movement, right? And then you had a bunch of groups just jump on. ACLU jumped on, SEIU, and a couple others.
Whoa.
And then it just kind of grew from there.
Mhm.
Right, we got like these. I think most of this sparked because of the ICE raids.
Right?
in
It
LA.
kind of led on from
That's
that.
what I thought it was about.
No,
Yeah.
this was in place beforehand, right?
No,
Like
I
it was
think
always gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think it just got worse. Like tensions grew because
Yeah.
of what was happening.
Yeah, and there's protests happening everywhere now. I think a large part of it was to protest the parade itself too, right? The cost of it. It's going to cost
Oh, right.
yeah,
25 to 40 million.
it was supposed to be the biggest military parade that they've ever had.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it actually ended up costing, but yeah,
Yeah.
the numbers, I think, to what you were saying. What is that here? Or somewhere around 2,000 protests took place across U.S., Canada, Mexico, France.
That's the crazy part. It was everywhere.
Yeah, and then check these approximate numbers, right? And a couple cities, right? So Houston, 15,000, 10,000 in New York, 5,000 in Albany, 1,000 in Alton, Illinois. Where's Alton?
Alton?
Right? And then there was also a couple of massive crowds in other places. I think we have a clip showing a few cities. There, Fort Worth,
Whoa.
Texas. What is this, Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah.
Right? Why are they dressed up?
the fruit.
Philadelphia. Look at that.
Boston?
Wow.
It's peaceful, right?
Right?
Seems like it.
No for speech.
Paris, France.
No freedom. Out of reach.
Oh, so
Frankfurt.
That's what I don't get. Why are they protesting in other countries?
To show their solidarity and support
For what?
What's your cause?
for Trump.
like, what are you protesting?
Bernie's out here.
Oh, you know, Bernie was going to be out here.
Bernie was out
Vermont.
there. Vermont, yeah.
Yeah.
did they do it in the UK?
I don't
Like
know.
they actually have a king, so it'd be funny.
Right? They would make more sense there. But they're protesting another non-king.
Yeah, I mean, okay, to me, this place, like, I could see both sides of it,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you're in LA, right, and you see these ice raids happening,
Yeah.
right, and it's more humanized to you, right, I guess you could say, because you probably know people in your community, you know, who have families, and even if they've come here illegally or come in the States, illegally,
Yeah.
you see families being torn apart and stuff like that.
Sure.
You're like, yo, you need to do something, right? So this movement gets created, and you're like, I want to go there and stand up for it as well, right?
Yeah.
And everyone kind of gets like captured by the moment,
Yeah.
for lack of better words. But then I feel like there's also the other side to it,
Yeah.
right?
That's the side that's, I guess, more uncomfortable and people don't want to talk about. But there's a crime that was committed, right? There's people that are here illegally.
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's like you're saying, it's messed up to see the videos of like women crying with the baby in her hand. There's the way they're going about it is definitely messed up.
Yeah, the places they're targeting and stuff.
Even, the places taking kids from schools, stuff like that, from like shopping malls, they're taking people like all over the place, right from their work in front of their coworkers.
Yeah.
But okay, so these No Kings protests, I think they're primarily non-violent, but like in those LA raids, those
Yeah,
were,
they were crazy.
they got a little crazy. I think we have a clip of some of the aftermath that happened with
I don't know. Look at that.
There's nobody in those cars though, but
No.
still.
This guy's like,
They're throwing it at them.
Yeah.
No, that's messed up.
Yo, I saw a video of people dancing while this was happening.
No, that's crazy, man.
yeah.
Like, that's not peaceful.
That's not peaceful. I get it. People are mad, right? But then, like, the other side of it is, like, I think we even have a clip of Trump. What he was saying something about.
No Kings protests planned across the country on Saturday as well. What are your thoughts on those?
What do they go? No king?
No Kings.
I don't feel like a king. I have to go through hell to get stuff approved. A king would say, I'm not going to get this. The king would have never had the California mandate to even be talking to him. He wouldn't have to call up Mike Johnson and Thune and say, fellas, you got to pull this off. And after years, we get it done. No, we're not a king. We're not a king at all. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, he's not a king, right? That's what he's being accused of, like a dictatorship, right?
Yeah, so I think like for me, like I can look at it from a couple of sides, right? One of the sides is yes, that we keep saying like the family's being torn apart and stuff like that. The other side is they're trying to say that it's not a democracy and they're fighting for democracy.
Yeah.
Like the Republicans won majority in the House and in the Senate, right? And Trump won, right? That's how a democracy works, right?
Yeah.
If you don't like it, then vote differently next time, right?
Yeah.
Like in Canada, right? Mark Carney won. We leaned one way, right? He won. We didn't vote for him, right? But are we like, that's not a democracy? No, he won.
He won the election.
Right? He won. And whether or not you agree with he fooled certain Canadians or you think that it should have been, that's your opinion, but he won.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how this stuff works. Right.
Yeah.
But like, because if you are going to say it's not a democracy, if you actually went, the interesting thing about the US is that it's one of the last countries on the planet that actually has freedom of speech, right?
Yeah.
It actually gives you the right to protest, right? In Canada, freedom of speech, we've talked about it a few times, it's not absolute. It's not absolute in the UK.
Yeah.
It's not absolute in Australia. And these are free democratic nations, right?
Yeah.
In the US, it's absolute. You do have complete freedom of speech.
Yeah.
You can say anything. Obviously, they don't want hate crime and stuff there, but you can argue pretty much anything.
Yeah.
So you see polar opposites, but like that's why the whole world gets attacked. I mean, attached to these kind of protests, right? Because it's a freedom of speech happening right in front of your eyes, right? So if you are actually in a country, like go try this in North Korea.
Exactly.
Try it, right? Like where there's actually isn't a democracy, you won't be walking around. They'll shut these protests down right away. They're not happening. Right, like you would be shot in the streets.
Yeah,
right. You can't do it. Right.
I think partly the reason for these protests is because they are seeing a pattern that it can get there, and they don't want it to, so they're putting their foot down.
I think other countries or
no, like the people that are protesting.
No, it's okay. I see that opinion, but why I would challenge you on that is that. Because I think people just get captured by a movement very easily, want to be on a team and like rah, 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 right? Cool, right? But if you understand what's actually going on, people voted for immigration, right? Like they voted for...
Yeah, he's just fulfilling his mandate.
Yeah, he's been running on these policies since day one, right? What he does do where they like to attack him is, I'm not trying to be such a Trumper, but like where they like to attack him is that he's abusing his power, right? That's where they're saying that he's authoritarian, right? Because of all the executive orders. Look, I signed this big, beautiful this, that, and he makes everything like a massive deal, right? And then he comes out and he says things in a certain way. So they don't like him as a character and the way that he's behaving, right? But nobody's arguing the policy. Even if you go research it and whatever they're arguing, nobody says that the policies he's doing are undemocratic. Right? So you don't like the guy. That's all it is. So if you don't like the guy and the way that he says things, you're going to do this?
That's what it is. Yeah, people are just not... It's his approach. Even how he's going about this is too in your face. Like the way he's doing it and the clips you see online. Like, it's hard to watch some of them, right? The way they're going about it. If he did it in a way, there was a process, like you have a system for them to even like go about being integrated into your society, or they have to pay a fine or something along those lines, something more... Not so
even
hard.
The ones that have been integrated, I've seen like 50, 60 years in the country. And then I don't know if they just filled out paperwork wrong or something illegal happened. But to send them back, like I saw, it was like a university professor. Sorry, you were going to say something.
I think I agree with like I wouldn't want to see families split up and somebody who's actually a part of, like, they shouldn't be sent back. Right? Like I can see that perspective of it, right? But I think a part of the reason why Trump, yes, he's polarizing, but part of the reason he won is because he was an anti-elitist, even being elite, right? Like what he was doing was when people tell you act this way, talk this way, sit this way, he was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to do this, right? And that's what he did.
Like he's very black and white.
And right now, what they're trying to do is like, we don't like the way that you're saying that no, don't do that. He's like, well, you're not president. I am. I'm going to do it this way. Right? So to me, whether I like it or not, like Carney's doing a little bit of it here, right? Like he has every right to. He's prime minister. We push back on it, right? But does he have every right to? Yeah, of course he does. Am I going to go protest in the streets and be like, Carney said this, I didn't like the way he said? No, I'm not going to do that.
I mean, that's just like, what else can they do?
What do you mean?
Like if you feel defeated or you feel like you want a policy change.
Well, midterms are like what? Not 12 months away.
Yeah, but what if your family just got taken away by, for example, ICE? And you feel like some sort of like, I need to do something.
I mean,
what else can
even
you do?
Here, we know friends and family that live in California and stuff, right? Like I've seen people's social media posts, right? They're at these protests or whatever, right? And we clearly feel a different way about it. You guys kind of...
Because like you were saying, like we don't have a freedom of speech here.
Yeah.
Doing it here would make zero difference.
I mean, it would still make somewhat of a difference. Like your voice would be somewhat heard, but if you went to that extreme, like you saw what happened with the truckers protest in Ottawa. Like that got
shut down immediately.
Right, and there's people whose bank accounts have been frozen and they can't come back from that.
Gone to jail.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they did that, like the truckers protest looks like nothing compared to this,
for sure.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I'm saying like I could see that perspective, right? But I think what the left likes to run with is like this whole dictator thing, and like I'm like if you're gonna make it seem like that, right? Then at least attack the policies, right? If he's doing some sort of stuff that is like where he's like attacking democracy, talk about what policy is he doing? What did he do where he's attacking democracy?
And like he said, everything that he does, he has to get approved through the Senate. He's like, if I was a king, I would just be doing things.
And we're Canadians, right? And looking at this from a Canadian lens, right? We have no skin in the game, and we actually don't like the tariffs he's imposing on Canada. It's making our lives worse,
wants to.
Right? But I'm not going to be out here and be like, oh, I'm going to go join a protest of Donald Trump, right? I don't like tariffs.
I feel like these protests, sometimes they just get so carried away that your like initial cause gets lost. Like even these no kings things, they're getting mixed up with. It just feels like in the States every summer it's like protest season, and they just protest.
There is this too, though.
Even at the no kings things, I saw signs like LGBT signs.
So there's, I think,
like, what are you protesting?
I think there's a part of this where it's like, where like exactly like where are you going with this, right? Is it because midterms are around the corner and this is how you flip votes? Is that what's going on, right? Because I even heard Chris Cuomo talk about it. I don't know if you guys know, he's always been on the left. He's on CNN right now. He reports for News Nation. that stuff happened with him and his brother, all that stuff on CNN.
Yeah.
But he doesn't backtrack off of like and apologize for his CNN days, right? He kind of plays centrist now. Right? Even him, he was saying that there was something going on. He's like, these protests are funded by certain organizations. He's alluding to the fact,
CCP.
Yeah, that it all boils down to China. Because who's funding all this? How do you get 2,000 protests together like this?
Exactly.
And you start going across an entire country, not multiple countries, right? There's money behind this. It's coming from
100%.
somewhere, right? So it's naive to think that you can't just sit there and think it's linear, right? Like a thing happens like these ICE raids and people take advantage of it like this, right? You even saw Gavin Newsom starts a podcast. He becomes a centrist, right? Because he's trying to win votes, right?
Yeah.
And then this stuff happens. He's like, I'll go to jail. Trump, come arrest me.
Well, obviously we know what
it's all just votes, right? So like that part of it, when like I feel sorry for the people, yes. But when people try to politicize this, like Bernie Sanders, Trump, whoever, I'm like, why are you falling for this, right? Like, if you want to vote for policy, go vote for it, right? If you want to keep immigrants in, vote for that. If you want them out, vote for that, right? Do it, right? But to get mad at the way that somebody's doing, like they're not abusing their power. He's doing whatever he can. Any president could have done this.
Yeah, I see a lot of even people, like somebody will speak out on it, like we're Indian, right? And we're speaking out on it right now. People will be like online, if a black person speaking, aren't you African? Go back to Africa. He's still American, right? Like we're Canadian. Where are you going to deport us to? Like Etobicoke, where I was born? Like I think even that gets lost on people. Like what is actually going on, right? They're getting rid of people who are illegal, who are undocumented.
Yeah, I mean, I think all four of us are kind of in agreement there.
Like
right, that like you don't want to split up families. Obviously, you know, criminals, they probably should deport, right? And that goes without saying, right? But if you're going to split up families, you're going to get some backlash.
100%.
Because with the deportations, like one thing is like when you're in America, it can take years to get like your legal paperwork to be there. And some people are still just waiting for that process. Like they've already applied or whatever, and they're just waiting for it to become legal. And in the meantime, the ICE just raids them, they get deported. So it's like, it's kind of unfair.
But along the way, they did skip a step, right? They're in the country already. Like I personally have family that from India that waited like 12, 13 years until they were able to come here. And then they came.
Legally.
They didn't skip a step, start living here, to apply, and then, you know.
The way that I look at something like that, I can feel bad for them as a human, right? But like there's certain risks you take in life, right? Like, you know, if you do this, there's a risk to it, right? You could get caught.
Which, even me saying that, I don't knock the person doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, exactly, right? Like, theoretically, if I was in Mexico, right, and I lived in a city, from Guadalajara or somewhere in Mexico, wherever cartels are, you know, prevalent and predominant in that community.
Yeah,
I have a daughter, right? And I'm like, oh, is it going to be illegal for me to cross and people are going to be mad, or am I just going to sit here? I'm going to pick up my family, pack my bags. And
that's the thing. Like a lot of people are there because they were fleeing their country because they were scared of violence.
So if that happened to me, and then when I got there, I got pushback, I'd be like, I knew this was going to happen.
That's the thing, right?
Right? To be like, I have the right. This is my birthright.
Yeah.
How? What gave you the right? If it's like that, then you just open your doors and now you're going to flood this country. Like, you've already seen what happened in Canada. You saw what happened there, right? Economically, these countries can't take on that. We're seeing the repercussions of immigration here right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you see all of these, I don't want to say students only, but like immigrants that came here and now they're slowed down the work permit thing. And now after a high inflation period, like, people can't rent out their homes, certain people, right? There's
crime.
Yeah, everything goes through the roof, right? And now you're heading into a recession. And now, like, with unemployment, I think for youth unemployment, it's for, I was reading for males, it's all the way up to like 20%.
Yeah.
Right? And we see across the country, it's at 7, right? And it keeps growing, right? And the prices of things haven't come down. Yeah.
It's pretty high.
So then if you're looking at all of that, like, you see that it's not that people hate immigrants. We're a product of immigration, right? Our parents were immigrants, but it's whatever the system can withstand, right? And then you do it slowly and it's fine, right? And even then, when you open the floodgates, what ends up happening, like, you see what happens in the UK, right? like what ends up happening is that a lot of people come who sometimes they don't assimilate. We have that problem in Canada, right? Where people come by the masses and nobody assimilates.
Yeah.
Right? Or that's not saying that everyone's bad, but some people don't want to assimilate, right? Whereas like if you take your time, like, hey man, like no, this is how it's done here, do it like this, right? There's actual rules and regulations and laws. We know people like that. They like to skip 5, 6, 7 steps and they're the main character in the story, like just care about themselves. That's how they are, right?
Yeah.
So it's always been a problem, immigration in that sense, right? So like that is a policy issue, right? But like the whole protest thing, I don't know. Especially these people that are in different countries who like, you know, Canada, France, Germany, do you not have a job? You just want to grab a flag, oh, here Trump, right? And just head downtown for no reason?
Yeah.
He's not your president.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, a lot of people are in it just for the looting and the chaos too.
There's also that.
And I don't know. I think sometimes the actual cause gets lost, but it's definitely tough. Like the things that people's families go through and the way that... But I do think even if you went about it a different way, you still get pushback because nobody wants to be kicked out. Period.
Yeah, like people say that like they you know, Trump didn't concede defeat.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard many people talking about this. But if you on the left are conceding defeat, are you conceding defeat right now?
Yeah.
You're pushing back and saying that he's a threat to democracy.
Yeah, calling him a dictator and stuff.
Right? It's the same thing. It's essentially the same thing when he says that, like, I didn't lose the election.
Yeah.
Right? It's a similar, a similar reaction. The similar things gonna happen, right? It's one side says this, the other side says this. We fight.
Yeah. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation.
Yeah. We'll see what happens there. Let's move on to G7.
Yeah.
So the G7 summit happens every year, right? A bunch of countries get together. They talk about a bunch of stuff. The economy.
They never do anything.
They never really do anything.
Yeah.
The economy, climate change, security, whatever they feel like is important. But last time Trump was here, right, during his last presidency, things kind of blew up a little bit, right? So there's this document that they all sign. And it's basically a list of common issues, which they're told about beforehand. So they've already negotiated it and they all agree on it, right? And they're supposed to sign it. Last time Trump was here, he didn't sign it, right?
Of course.
Yeah, but not only did he not sign it, he left the G7 summit early, right? Because of Trudeau.
Yeah.
Right. So he says Trudeau is very dishonest and weak.
Okay.
Right. And this whole thing that he had with Trudeau, it was mainly over tariffs.
Yeah.
Right. They were discussing tariffs. He said that through this tantrum and then he left.
Okay.
Right. So then this time around, everyone's kind of tiptoeing around and being like, we don't want to discuss tariffs. We don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like in this thing, it's going to be a lot of like who can finesse these sidebar conversations with Trump and manage to progress some sort of trade deal, something on the table. Start talking about
we all know that's the underlying thing, right? The tariffs, they want to address that, and then probably all these what's happening overseas
with
all these wars going on, Ukraine, Russia, Iran.
I was like, what's happening overseas?
A bunch of stuff's happening.
There's a bunch of things happening.
Usually it's just about climate change,
right?
I feel like that's
even that's on their agenda.
Yeah, I know it's always going to be.
Yeah, and the protesters are going to be there every year.
Greta Thunberg.
She was just on a ship or something.
Yeah, she jumped on a boat to go to where?
No, and it got
hijacked.
Yeah,
or something?
yeah.
I remember her being a kid. She's like old now.
Yeah, it's
she's
not
still,
cute anymore.
In her 20s, like she's still a kid.
Yeah.
She just seems like a crazy person to me now.
I just always think do you not have school? Where are your parents?
For a life. Yeah, but the interesting thing that I found funny is that just like there's protests in the States.
Yeah.
So there's people that want to protest here for various reasons, right? We talked about one of them last week. I'm not the kind of person who's going to go and protest, but just like we were saying about the States, I feel like the right to protest and have the freedom to protest is very important, right?
Sure.
So in these free democratic countries, you should have the ability to voice your opinion, whether people want to hear it or not.
Peacefully.
Right? Yeah, you should peacefully be able to, right? So there's a bunch of groups who are, I forget what they're protesting exactly. We all know the India protests that they want to do, right?
Yeah.
But what they're doing is they're organizing to protest in Calgary, right? And this thing's happening in Kananaskis, right?
Okay.
So that's an hour away from Calgary.
You nailed that pronunciation.
I said it like 3-4 times on the pod.
I still don't want to say it.
But this thing's like an hour away from Calgary, and it doesn't have any public access, right?
Okay.
So even though they're setting up these protests, none of these politicians are going to see it.
But like they can see them later on TV.
On TV, that's it, right? But they're not going to be phased by it.
On the way to...
No, it's not even on the way. They're not going to
disrupt them at all?
At all.
Damn. Even Trump, like, I read that 50,000 Canadians signed a petition to ban this guy from attending.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening. He's still coming.
Well, the dumbest move that Mark Carney would have been able to make is be like, Trump is the guy that we're not inviting.
Right.
He's not allowed to come.
No sense.
Yeah.
But two of the leaders from the G7, like, nobody wants in Canada.
What do you mean?
Like Modi and Trump. There's going to be protests against them, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be protests, right? But
they're already pre-planned. They're going to be happening, I guess, in Calgary.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't think those protests are going to fall on deaf ears, right? Because of where they're happening.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not just them. I think there's a bunch of people protesting Brazil, because the way the G7 works, it's not just the G7, it's also a bunch of countries that they invite. Right. So it ends up being like 15, 20 countries, a couple of world leaders. Some of them are going through various things in their own country. So there's various little protests. Somebody always has something they're disagreeing with, right? There's a lot right every government.
Social media though, so it won't be deaf ears.
What do you mean? The protests?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll get a lot of media attention too. Like, I guess that's their point, like to put this pressure on them and to show that people
like Calgary will be your best bet. It's probably the most populated city, closest to it.
Yeah, even Trump, didn't he just come out and lift something or temporarily call back
the ice raids?
The ice raids.
So the protests kind of worked. Well, for now.
Yeah, for now.
He temporarily halted them, right? But I
Paused
think maybe that had to do with his whole birthday / parade thing that he was doing. He wanted to go smooth.
Birthday party.
His birthday parade, the military parade thing.
It's crazy though, eh? He's having this parade and
he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He's like, I'm not stopping anything.
Fall while walking up the stairs?
Yeah.
No.
I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah. I saw a clip of him falling while walking up the stairs, and I remember how much shit he talked about Biden.
Yeah.
Biden did it.
Really?
Right?
He's pretty old too. He just turned 79.
Yeah, 78, 79, something like that. Yeah. People think he's a young guy. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see if any country can get a trade deal done without pissing Donald Trump off.
That's all this thing's going to be.
That's all it's really about.
Yeah.
And a couple of protests. Let's move on to Google search is fading. So there's in this article in Bloomberg, internet search traffic has been falling for much of... internet search traffic has been falling for much of the past year as web surfers experiment with artificial intelligence-powered search from OpenAI's ChatGPT and AI startup Perplexity AI. So far, referrals from AI search engines have replaced about 10% of traditional search losses, according to similar web data. I don't know what that is. Google is pushing back by adding AI-powered summaries to the top of its search results, de-emphasizing its traditional blue links, and thereby further reducing search traffic. Yeah, that's what I tend to see every time when you Google anything. But in May, monthly U.S. search traffic to Schwab.com fell for the first time at least 2 years. According to SimilarWeb, down 14%. A year ago, search referrals to Schwab were up 179%. TripAdvisor search tumbled 34%. Starbucks saw a 41% decline. Netflix, even a pioneer in digital strategies, was down 23%. The traffic conversation has a feel of the 1990s as early aughts before Google arrived and companies were still trying to figure out how to attract audiences across the World Wide Web. Executives are talking up deals with OpenAI's ChatGPT, Perplexity, and other AI-driven search tools. We're partnering with AI search companies to ensure our brands show up well across customer queries, said Expedia CEO Rain Gorin in May.
Okay. So Google's not going to be the top dog anymore? Basically,
so it seems like what's happening is people aren't using Google that much, right? Like it's getting less and less. I think when ChatGPT first came out, it was kind of novel and not everyone was on it.
Yeah.
But now I think everyone's first, or most people's first instinct is to ask ChatGPT.
For sure.
Right?
It's not mine.
It's not?
Like me personally, I still Google things. That's my first instinct. I Google it.
So I do too, but don't you guys find it a little tedious to...
I think you have to look for things more when you Google it.
Right.
Where ChatGPT just gives you
the answer.
So I feel like it's making me lazy, right? So like when I started, I was like, oh, this isn't a big deal. It's just like Google, right?
Yeah.
And then you realize I don't have to click on links.
No. It's just there.
It's just there.
Yeah.
And it'll give you sources too.
of the 15 places they got it from. And it's better at web searching than you are, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So when it's doing all of that, I'm like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Right? And it kind of puts this thing in an interesting place because ChatGPT isn't always right.
Yeah.
Which was a sad realization because I really believed in it.
It messes up a lot, man. You gotta kind of fact check it.
And then there's also, I feel like they were saying here, apparently Reddit also got hit, they say in this article.
Yeah.
And a bunch of these other companies, right? So now they're all either trying to partner somehow to start advertising, right? So think about how that would look, right? So imagine if somebody, I'm just guessing here, if somebody wants to advertise on ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
So if you ask what's the best baking, recipe book.
Yeah.
Right? If a person advertises, it's going to recommend that.
Yeah.
Right. So if it's like finance driven, it's not really
then
information driven, right? Then there's a bias. Crazy. And that's like a lot of what I feel like the pushback people started giving Google.
Yeah.
Right. Like you heard Rogan talk about it during
the ads, right?
Yeah. He used to talk about DuckDuckGo, I think it was, that he would use to bypass, the search results, kind of search results they would give you. But if ChatGPT is doing the same thing, right, because of whoever's financing it,
it'll get there eventually. Even Google, they make a lot of money off that, right? The advertising. So whenever you search something, whoever paid for that, they're going to be at the top of the search, right?
That's how websites used to work, right?
Yeah.
But like now, like because I'm so used to AI, if I Google something, I just read the AI overview.
Yeah.
Right. And I used to always go bypass that.
I remember when that first started, it used to piss me off.
What is this
like,
thing?
Go back to the link.
Yeah.
Now, I agree. So when you first brought up this topic, I used to be like, no, I Google it. You just say it. I'm going to
Google it.
And when I think about it, like even Google Images, I would rather use Pinterest. If I want to look up a recipe, I'd rather use TikTok or YouTube.
Right.
So I really don't use Google that much or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So I completely agree that it is fading. Well, like personally for me.
Yeah. So it's basically pushing people to other apps, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, Google's AI is free and Grok is free, right?
Grok isn't free.
Grok isn't free?
No.
Grok has a paid.
Yeah.
Okay. So same thing. I think if Grok and ChatGPT ever became free, they'd probably do it like that.
What?
They would get people to pay to be first in search and stuff. They need a way to make money.
That would have more profitability.
Yeah.
Than
like what I'm trying to say is if it was completely free, like every tier of it, I imagine the paid tier is much better, right? If that was completely free, then I think Google's in serious trouble.
Well, Google has its own AI, right? And Google still has a bunch of other things going on.
Yeah,
right? YouTube's one of them, right? But I think from just a search engine perspective, I don't know, because I even saw this thing with Reddit, right? Where Reddit was like, people aren't coming to their site as much, so they're either working with ChatGPT now, or they're gonna create their own AI.
Yeah.
Right?
That's where it's at. Everyone has to make their own.
So like then you think about Reddit, right? Like why would you go to Reddit? You go to Reddit because you Google something and you're like, okay, that's like the article.
Reddit comes up though, really fast.
Yeah, but like let's say if you're Googling a certain, I don't know, hot button issue or something, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna check like the news sources, the articles, left, right, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually you're gonna be like, let me see what people
that's how you
right? Let's go to Reddit.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's like subreddits and there's like comments going on. you start going down this rabbit hole, conspiracies or whatever.
Medical or like for me, baby related. I used to go on Reddit all the time.
Yeah. So then the weird thing about Reddit is I saw something a couple weeks ago where Reddit, apparently not Reddit, but somebody tried to do some sort of AI campaign to try to see if it can convince users that it was an actual real person and these were AI bots.
Yeah.
And they were actually successful at doing it, right? So they were in these subreddits and they were posting things and people were reading them and reacting to them as if they're real people, right? So now imagine if Reddit's just an AI. Right now, if you're asking it, you used to go there for a personal human opinion on how do you feel about this baby issue or parenting. But now when you go there, it's some AI bot that somebody else has, kind of coded the LLM to make it a certain way. So I don't know.
Just side note to what you just said, though. I don't know if this is true, but I saw this thing where there was an AI company. So they said it was AI, but it was like 300 humans answering.
What the hell?
Wrong. I saw like it got shut down.
Crazy.
It was just a bunch of laptops.
Like a call center?
It was a call center vibe.
Like, hey, we do AI
But
too.
they're saying it was AI. They got shut down. I could be
like
wrong,
some Indian
but
version.
I saw that. It was. I just didn't want to say it.
Oh my God.
I even saw that people are starting to use ChatGPT for therapy.
Oh, forever you could talk to it.
Yeah, that's the thing. These AIs are going to get better. These LLMs, the more they learn things.
So I think the danger here is, though, that when ChatGPT first started, right, there was this whole conversation about the Turing test and how it passed it so it can convince a human that it's a human, kind of, right? That's what's going on. When that's happening, a lot of conversations started to happen about who's programming the LLM, right? Because once then it evolves where it's going to start to talk to itself and it's going to have safeguards. And if it leans one way politically or the other, you're going to have a different answer. Right. So now in a world where everyone's too lazy to go check the sources and do various, like even if you ask ChatGPT, like all randomly, if I'm asking it something, everything's political these days. So I'll be like, okay, give me a liberal perspective. Okay, give me a right-wing perspective. Right? Or what's a neutral perspective? You have to take it to certain places. But even then, it'll be like, this is like if you ask for a certain perspective, it'll be like, this is a completely wrong and biased perspective, but I'll give it to you anyways.
See, look at that.
Like, what
That's
is that?
Crazy.
Right? Like, and it remembers your name, it remembers your history and what you're typing. And so imagine how much easier
that's the thing.
It gets to manipulate people because I think people don't even realize how easy it is to manipulate people, us included,
you
right?
Don't even realize while you're being manipulated.
Yeah, you just read certain things and they prey on the sympathy and the way that you think, and it knows everything about you, right? So then I think like what would be a healthier solution to all this is if you know that Reddit has a right-leaning AI. Right, ChatGPT has a neutral or left-leaning AI.
Be
right?
more
Grok has a right one, and this one has a left one, and this one has that perspective. If you know that going in, you're like, okay, let's just get all perspectives, right?
For sure.
But all it's doing is, to me, eliminating human communication completely.
And it's so quick. That's the thing. That's why everyone uses it. Like for me, with Simmer, it's my personal fact check. Anything I say, ChatGPT. No, actually, it's this. I feel like
you're not so smart anymore. But
I feel like with Google, you actually have to scroll a bit, find it,
search it.
You're lazier. You're like ChatGPT is just like, no, in 1996, this happened.
So many sources gives you a nice wrapped up answer.
You could be like in point form. And it's like jotted down for you.
It's pretty clutch, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. We'll see what happens with it, but I feel like it's one of those things where they've kind of opened Pandora's box.
Yeah.
And who knows where this thing's going to end up, right?
There's
like,
a lot of good, but there's a lot of bad.
Even in this article, how he's talking about, like, this is kind of how I felt in the 1990s before Google came along. I feel like in 10 years from now, we're going to be like people used to Google things. Like, it's going to be weird.
Bing.
But that's it for the main topics. Let's move on to sports.
Cool. Yeah. Were you tuning into the NBA, the finals?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of that game towards the end of it. I kind of felt like Indiana kind of lost that game a little bit.
For sure. I thought that was their one opportunity to take like a stranglehold, 3-1.
Yeah.
It really looked like them. what's going on here? These guys are going to finish him in 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then SGA kind of had his moment. Like, if they go on to win, you kind of got to look back at this game. Like, he clutched it in the end there. He hit a lot of the shots leading up to the end of the game and eventually them winning, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like they were up like 8 or 9 with... They were up like 8 or 9 with about 2-3 minutes left, right? And they definitely choked that one away. Like, they choked.
I mean, to me, I feel like a lot of this conversation that's surrounding SGA, like it seems like the NBA, he's like the prototype next face of the league, right? And we just keep throwing these words around, right? And everyone in sports does.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's in this place where it's his to take right now.
For sure.
Right? Because it's something you got to go and take, right? You can't just be told that, right?
Yeah.
Like if he wins MVP, finals MVP, and a championship in the same year, you're the face of the league.
Yeah.
Right? And then a lot of the talk about him being a free throw merchant and stuff like that, how do you feel about all of that?
Like, he wasn't really getting the... Sometimes when I'm watching, there was even times during that game, I was like, damn, he's doing it. He's baiting the guy. But if that's a part of the game, too, and he's good at it, how can you knock him for doing it, right?
I mean, I don't think he's even remotely close to James Harden, the way that he was doing it, right? And when he was going to the line, I even remember, like, people, I think a lot of the times forget what older players have done, right? People get annoyed with shooting too many threes, and then you're going to get annoyed because somebody's driving to the hoop and drawing free throws.
Like, what do you want the guy to do?
Exactly, right? A lot of the times in clutch situations, what ends up happening is that because somebody's uncomfortable shooting free throws, they just won't drive, right? So they just don't want the ball, right? So if you have a guy who has no problem shooting free throws and he's driving, you're gonna get mad at that, right? Like, people forget about Kobe's stats, right? They forget about people in clutch moments in the finals and the playoffs, and they all go to the free throw line. It's a part of the game, right? Like, you're gonna try to to me, it's a bit much there, right?
You know what I think it is a little bit? Like, I saw on Jeff Teague, I think on his podcast, he was talking about it. He's like, there's too many Canadians in the finals right now. He's like, Team Canada's getting too good. Even if I think Nabatia was at the games too.
I was gonna say, did you guys see that he's at the games wearing a Canada jersey?
Yeah, he's there. He's been at all of them. He went to
he went to with his Canada jersey.
Yeah. He went to the OKC games too, I think. He's there like supporting Siakam, I guess.
And I guess Canada as well, because like, there's like 4 Canadians.
There's 4 Canadians in the finals, and they're on the floor a lot. A lot of the time when you're watching, almost half the players on the floor are Canadian playing up. This isn't hockey.
Who is it? It's Lou Dort, SGA,
Dort, Nemhard, and those 3. Matherin.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So 2 on Indiana, 2 on OKC.
Yeah.
But those 3 you named, Nemhard, SGA, Dort, starting lineup.
Yeah.
They're always on the floor.
No, it's all.
So you're watching.
That's pretty cool.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
And I think that secretly rubs a lot of the like players even and the media the wrong way. They're just like, they don't want a Canadian as the face of the league, right?
Yeah, like Drake.
I think
right. There's a little bit of that going on.
I think it is. I really think it is. I think that definitely has something to do with it. But it's that's crazy. NBA Finals, 4 Canadians on the floor.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And even with the free throw stuff, I feel like people need to stop. How many players do you know that score 30 points, average 30 points, and don't shoot that many free throws?
Come on.
It's a part of the game, right? Like LeBron's like 6'8", 6'9", right? The guy's like 250 pounds. He goes flying when a 5'9" point guard touches him, right? Like, that's not going to happen in real life.
Exactly.
Right?
You know what the thing I did appreciate about this guy, though? They kept telling him, oh, he's got to be more aggressive. He's got to play a certain way. Even when they were losing, he kept his cool. Even when they won, he's just like, all right, we did this. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Like, he just keeps his cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's pretty smooth in that way. He's pretty smooth, I guess.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's a little like, even if you're winning, like, he's not one of those like
yelling
that
after
gets
the
a whole
shot,
crowd into it and stuff like that. So I feel like that has a little bit of negatives and positives to that. Yeah.
For sure. Did you see what's going on with Marner?
Yeah.
The Core 4 era might be over.
Yeah. So
how do you feel about that, man?
I mean, to me, I feel like the grass isn't always greener, and I don't know how you guys feel, but like watching the Florida Edmonton series, right?
Yeah.
And people made so much of like, Draisaitl and McDavid. They're so amazing. I'm not saying they're not amazing talents, right? But you saw, Florida and Toronto go to 7, right? Arguably, to me, I look at that and I'm like, Toronto's 1, 2, 3 best team in the league, right? So if schedules worked out differently, if conferences worked out differently, we'd be in the finals, right?
The way it's looking right now.
Yeah, even game 7, right? Like if we were able to, we weren't even close, but like if something happened there by the grace of God, like maybe we would have won a Stanley Cup this year, right? So like to me, I feel like Toronto fans sometimes overreact and they're like, get him out of here, get somebody else in, right? Like who's out there?
For sure. I don't know for sure. I think we have the tweet of this was the guy Andy Strickland. He's like a sports insider, and he came out and said, "Can confirm Mitch Marner will not be returning to Toronto. Will be playing for a new team next season." Right? We don't know for sure.
Everyone kind of thought that.
But that's what he's saying. It's been thought that way, that he's gonna go and get his bag, because it's reported that he might get 14 mil from Anaheim. I was reading that. Like he can get paid a lot of money, and he's a quality talent. And that's also not for sure. That's just one. He's the only person who said that, and everyone's running with it. So are we. But we don't know for sure. But who is really out there? There's what's Marchand? He's killing it right now.
He's killing it, man.
And there's Sam Bennett. Both of them are killing it on Florida. But are you gonna leave if they win? I don't know.
Can they afford him? I don't know.
If both of them afford both of them, probably not. But if Marner does leave, that probably makes it 100% we're going to re-sign Tavares.
Yeah.
And then where do you go from there? But what you're saying was completely correct, man. We took him to 7 games. As it stands right now, no team has done that. It's been 5 games. We'll see what happens.
You're telling me the Leafs with the core 4 wouldn't have walked through Carolina?
Yeah.
Right? Like we would have been in the finals if you got past Florida.
100%.
I don't know if we would have beat Edmonton, right? I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like it would have been an even matchup. Like, I don't know. This series is still not over, right? Like, we'll see what happens.
Not yet, but it doesn't look too good.
No, man. Florida's too good, man. It is annoying me, though.
Too good, man.
It's annoying me, though, that with everything that's going on, that Florida, a place where they don't even care about hockey, is going to come and take it, right? Like, even from Edmonton, they love hockey.
Yeah.
Right? It's like Connor McDavid, him winning the Stanley Cup would have been massive. To Florida, I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything to like the players, but the city even think they care. They like beating Canada more than that.
That's what it is to them. They just want to beat Canada. Even before them, Tampa won a couple. Like Florida's been winning some Stanley Cups.
Maybe that's the recipe, right? Go to a city where they don't give a shit. Just win.
There's no pressure, right?
Just run
These guys feel the pressure too much. Even Marchand, he could have signed with us.
Yeah.
But LeBron. Did you see this? He was on his podcast, I think, a couple of days ago. There's a clip of him.
Michael Jordan wasn't out there dribbling 1,000 times, to get to the spot. He get to a spot and raise. Isaiah Thomas, as great of a handle Isaiah Thomas had, Isaiah get to a spot and raise. All these guys that I grew up, Grant Hill, get to a spot. I'm bigger than you.
Straight line.
Big Dog Robinson, I'm bigger than you. Allen Houston. All these great players, that I grew up watching and admiring. Penny Hardaway, yes, they could dribble the basketball, but it's no Tracy McGrady. Even as great as Tracy's handle was, it was, I'm bigger than you. I'm going to get to the spot and at least amount of dribbles. Kevin Garnett, it's
good footwork, get over
the top. If I'm a bigger than you and I get you on my shoulder, I get you on my hip, I'm gonna use my size. I see it all the time. It's like, I'll be on social media, it's like LeBron has no bag. It's like, I'm sitting over here.
What is that?
LeBron has no bag and I'm sitting like at 50 billion points.
Right. Leading scorer all time in the NBA, no bag. That proves the point.
Yes, just play the game the right way. And Michael Jordan.
Yeah, pretty much what he said. He's like, get to your spot and score. The emphasis should be on scoring, right?
Yeah.
Not like getting in your bag. What is a bag, right?
Yeah.
Like a dribble set, like being able to do moves.
Yeah, a bag is Kyrie's got a bag.
Yeah.
Right? Steph's got a bag.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's a bag.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm sorry, LeBron, but you don't have a bag. Right? Like, that's not your thing.
I
Right?
thought
Like,
he was talking about money.
Oh, he definitely has that bag.
Yes,
he has
that
the biggest
bag.
bag in the league. If you're talking about that.
but like, I feel like you can't have everything, right? And LeBron, like, no matter what, everyone puts him in the GOAT conversation. He's 100%. Always 1 or 2 in most people's book, right? Some people drop him out of the top 5 because they're crazy.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think you can do that. I think he's 1 or 2. The way he's played the game, the way he's elevated the game, the way he's represented for basketball for so many years, 2 decades, right? So I think there's no way that you can't put the guy in that 1 or 2 conversation. Sure.
Yeah.
Right? But to go as far as like to be like, yo, no, I got a bag too, right? Like, what was his bag, right? Like, he would come to the 3-point line, look at his hand, and be like, oh, you have the power, right? And then shoot. Like, that was his bag, right? Like, it's like, remember that one year we were talking about it before? He tried to make a signature move, his hook shot or something.
Yeah,
he tried to, like, his signature move is the tomahawk dunk.
Yeah,
that's LeBron.
His step back 3, he's been hitting it a lot.
He has been hitting it, right? And I think, like, yeah, to the average guy like us, anything's a bag.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Kendrick Perkins probably has better handles than us, right? Like, when he was in the league.
I saw some video comparing it. Did you see it? It's LeBron and Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah.
They're like same bag and they're doing the same dribble moves.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, like, to try to take that and be like LeBron has some massive bag when it comes to, like, handles, I don't know. Because the bag is, like, not only handles, also footwork.
Right? A lot of signature moves.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say Harden has a bag, like KD, players like that, Steph for sure.
Kyrie,
100%. Like, LeBron, he scores with reckless abandon.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he does. He puts points up and no one can stop him. He has brute force.
This is what kind of annoys me. One of the things that annoys me about LeBron is, like, everyone thinks you're the top 2 player in the game. Everyone knows you scored the most points.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about how great your basketball IQ is.
Yeah,
how you're an all-around player. Basically averaged 28, 8, and 8 since the day you stepped on the court till the day you turned 5 million years old. You've been averaging that many points your entire career.
Even now it's up to him when he wants to stop this.
But he's also trying to be like, guys, I'm also the guy with the bag.
I have the best handle.
Why do you have to have everything, LeBron? Why can't that be Kyrie, Steph? They have the bag. That's never been. When have you been a guy that's nice with the handle, pull up? You haven't been. Like he was saying, I'm bigger than you. I hit you and I bump you and that's he was saying.
That was the confusing part. He's like, that's the way I came up. I learned, get to my spot. I'm like, yeah, you do that. You do that really, really well.
Yeah,
but you don't have a bag. I don't think he does. Yeah, but now he's coming out and saying, spreading some rumors on his own. I guess I think we have a clip of him.
LeBron, are the retirement rumors true? What's next?
Yeah. he just posted that on his IG, I think today or yesterday.
Yeah.
What? Why?
That's his bag. Right?
He's like, nobody's talking about
bag,
me.
The decision part too. Like,
nobody's in the, or he's not in the playoffs, I guess. So he needs somebody to talk about. I think this is just like, do you guys remember Snoop Dogg? When he's like, I'm off the smoke.
Yeah, he's probably promoting something. That's what I was going to say.
That's my guess. He's probably going to be selling something like by the time this thing airs. It's going to be a new product or something.
Yeah. The one thing I keep naming like 5 things. But another thing I'll say that annoys me about LeBron is like the finals are going on. You're a student of the game. Go for it, right? But like, let the attention this year, let it be on SGA, let it be on Halliburton, let it be on Indiana, let it be on OKC. I've shat on like how I don't like parity so much in the league, but these finals I'm kind of into, right? They're kind of cool, right? They're 2 small market teams going at it, and I feel like
it's probably going 7 now.
Yeah, like it's proven like me a little bit wrong, right? Like a conflict with myself where I was like, I like to see super teams, right? This is kind of cool.
Yeah,
they're very competitive, right? And it's like better basketball coaching and playing and perseverance is kind of prevailing there, right? So like watching all of that, right? Like just let it be about this right now.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be about you retiring? You couldn't wait till July 1st to do that? Like, you can't wait 1 more month, 2 more weeks. You could right? It's like, guys, I might make a big decision soon. Like,
I feel like it's one or the other. Either he's going to be selling some product or he's actually retiring and he's building it up already. Because he's going on that victory lap. He's not going to just announce it and just
I think his plan was for the last couple of years, like, get a ring and retire.
He's
right?
been trying.
Because I think he wanted to pull a Jordan.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Retire right when you win and be like, that was my last game. I'm done. I'm out. Right. And he was like, everyone thought I was gonna have the farewell tour. He's like, LeBron does this shit. Right.
Yeah.
The optics matter to him. Right.
Yeah.
So he was thinking. I'm guessing he was thinking that he wins, he calls it quits, and everyone's like, wow, LeBron's amazing.
Yeah.
Forever, right. And it's really hard to do. It's not working.
For sure.
Right. Yeah. And he's not winning. Right. So then now he's in a place where it's like, okay, what do you do? This.
He doesn't know. We'll see.
But that's it for sports. Let's move on to off topic.
So we'll start off with the dusting trend.
Okay.
The what?
Okay, so it's called dusting. It's also referred to as combing or huffing, and it involves inhaling aerosol sprays. So like a keyboard or a computer duster. So it's like these cans, and they're just inhaling them. And the point is to get a quick high from it. And it's apparently become a trend online. But there was a tragic incident of this 19-year-old girl who tried this, and she died from doing it.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And it's basically her cause of death was sudden sniffing death syndrome, which like I hadn't even heard of before, but it's like you sniff those certain chemicals, which are especially in like aerosol cans and things like that, and it goes like straight to your like brain or like, into your bloodstream, and like you can just die like right on the spot. And that's basically what happened to her.
So she's like cardiac arrest.
Yeah, and they got your heart stops. And like her parents are like talking about it now, and I guess that one of the reasons why this became so popular with teens is because like you don't need any ID to buy it. It's odorless. You won't be tracked in drug test. So yeah, and then people were starting to use it to get high.
That's kind of crazy.
Yo, did you guys ever watch Intervention, that show?
Yeah.
So this specific episode, I remember her name even, Allison. She used to do this because you could just buy them at Walmart. You could just like, I think they locked them up now, but this was like years ago where you can just like buy it. And she used to buy like 4 cans at a time and just like during the interview, she just keeps sniffing it.
What the hell?
Yeah. And it started off like she was a med school student, whatever. That's where her life turned into. But
Even, I think
it's kind of been a thing.
Yeah. It's
to
called
get
like
high.
huffing or something, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a name for it. I think though, like back in the day, even glue people would sniff and thinner and stuff.
I mean, as like a kid, I'm not saying I sniff markers, but like there used to be like
permanent markers have a good smell.
Yeah, like everyone knows the permanent marker smell. And I feel like they even had markers, probably bad marketing now that I'm thinking of it, but that like smelled like raspberries or cherries or strawberries or whatever, right? Right? Like, what are you encouraging?
Even like gasoline. Gas smells great.
Yeah. It does it?
Isn't that a thing? Like,
yeah, there are people who are like addicted to it.
I'm not addicted to it, but
you're not?
No.
You got it under control? Just sometimes.
I don't want to smell.
But yeah, I feel like there are people who I don't know, from the parent side of this thing, now you have to worry about things that you've never heard of before because of stupid TikTok trends.
How do you monitor your kids online, man?
Right? Like we've seen so many of these TikTok trends pop up. And like even like harmless things like the cinnamon challenge. Right? Like,
is that harmless though?
It's not? There's something that happens with that too?
No, like people are like choking on it, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you want your kid doing that either?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you supposed to do? Ask your kid, like, hey, listen, what trends did you see? We're gonna dissect those today.
I guess you have to.
Right? You're gonna have to sit down, basically have a family podcast every night. Like, yo, what do you see on social media? We're gonna process this together. Right? This is what's happening. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Lock up the spice cabinet.
Right?
Even the duster or whatever.
Yeah.
Lock that up.
No, that one's weird to me though, because like it's kind of odorless. Right? Like just the thought process of like
getting a high off of it. Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing
like
until
spraying it in your face. Like, what are you doing?
In your nose.
That's
like
wild.
You sniff it.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That's sad though, man.
That is sad because like obviously she didn't know that.
It's scary too.
One
Sudden sniffing syndrome makes you not want to sniff anything.
Well, there's also
19.
So you guys remember Ashton Hall, right? We talked about it.
Banana peel man.
Influencer, morning routine, ice baths. So he raced speed.
Oh. Okay.
So I have a video of it.
We get exposed Ashton Hall. Speed versus Ashton Hall. Let's get this shit right. It's over for him. Go! He's slowing.
So we beat him once.
What I say? What I say?
The second race.
Too slow.
Yeah.
Too slow. Stop playing with me, dude. Get the out of here, bro. Go.
Third.
Barefoot.
Yeah, they're over.
That one was closer.
I'm ready to run again. You really can beat me.
Oh yeah. He gets really mad after.
Well,
So basically, there's 4 races. We beat him all 4 times. Yeah, and it's weird because this guy's like this fitness influencer. Well, I guess he's like a influencer. I don't know if fitness.
Yeah.
But he looks like he could. You know, he like was helping DJ Khaled, I think.
Yeah. They should have brought Khaled to the race. See if he comes in.
But what happened was, so Speed tried to. So I didn't know he could run so fast. He was trying to race Tariq Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Football player.
Yeah. So first he asked him, he didn't want to do it. But then when he saw this race, he's like, all right, because they say he's like really fast.
Yeah,
he's fast.
What do they call him?
Cheetah.
I knew it was an animal.
Imagine the cougar being your nickname.
They're trying to
A dude.
The cougar.
set that up. But anyways, back to Ashton Hall. He was like, he's doing a little influencer tour. So he went to India.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
So he was just talking to some of the locals, trying to make content. So this was one of the first videos that he made.
Oh. Ganne ka juice. Ganne ka juice? Ganne ka juice. Ganne ka? Ganne ka. Ganna. What do you call sugar cane? Sugar cane means ganna. Okay. Sunne ka?
Oh.
Ganne ka juice. Ganne ka juice. Yes. Much love. And say dhanyavad.
Oh, damn. That's crazy.
What the hell was that?
Oh my god!
Like,
I first saw that, I laughed so hard.
That's crazy.
I could see though, like for a second, he's like, "What'd you say?"
For sure, I tripped out. I'm like, "Why is he talking like that?"
That's what I thought.
Oh, but he's saying "ganne ka juice," right?
Yeah.
Which means sugar cane's juice.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I
Very
mean, it's
sweet.
funny. I feel like, how do you guys feel about this guy? Right? Like, I feel like when he first came out, he started off by doing that stupid thing where the splashing water, whatever
The
that
Saratoga
was,
water, which,
whatever that was.
by the way, made millions
before that.
Wow.
Was he?
That
I
made
didn't.
him go viral.
I didn't see him really before that. I
Yeah.
guess he was an influencer. I guess
I
maybe
think
I
so.
wasn't put on, but like it kind of felt like he did that, and he's like, "I have arrived," and then from there. Because fitness influencers, you usually see them like working out stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like he's not really doing that.
If
He's
you
kind of
go
just
look at his content,
influencer.
that's how he came up.
That's how he came up.
started off with working out videos.
He's
he
a-
does workout videos now too, but it just,
Well, you can
still doesn't
clearly
make
tell
sense.
he's works out.
Yeah,
right?
he's a
But, like,
former football player. I
Yeah.
think he tried that course first. It didn't work out.
Yeah, but then like I to me, I feel like he does have like you can make fun of him if you want to for like losing even that race or like whatever. He seems generally like a positive dude.
Yeah.
Like I saw him even
His
in
overall
India
message.
and
Yeah.
he was like like I see a lot of videos about street vendors. He was at some restaurant or something and they were like no, those are just propaganda videos. Like we actually have real restaurants here too.
Yeah.
Which is cool, I guess, right? Like he's
Yeah.
doing all of that, but then a part of me is like, how much of this is marketing, right?
Yeah.
Like, is this something?
I mean, he's really good at it. You
Right.
gotta give him that too,
Right.
man. Like we can't seem to not talk about this guy. He's always popping up, right?
for sure.
He's everywhere.
Even the way like his videos, the clothes he wears, he looks like he has a lot of money. Like
Yeah,
he made it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was from football. You said he was.
No, yeah, I think he used to play
he
football.
tried?
He never got
Yeah.
drafted.
Oh, I
really.
see.
Yeah.
But you gotta look at Speed too, right? Like, yeah, I get it. The guy's name is Speed, but everyone looked at him as just some kid.
Yeah.
And he's athletic, bro.
You know
I
he
think-
raced that Noah Lyles guy.
Yeah,
too.
he
Yeah.
beat him.
Yeah,
beat
no,
him,
no, he didn't beat him.
I thought he beat him.
No, he kept up with him.
Yeah.
But I think Noah Lyles beat him.
And that guy's an Olympian.
Yeah, that guy's an Olympian, right? That's why, like, I don't like. At some point, he's gonna have more. He's turned these speed races a little bit into the Jake Paul's boxing matches,
Right? He's just out here
He's
racing
like,
everybody.
who are the athletes? Who are the track and field runners?
I mean, his name's IshowSpeed. He's showing it.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. It's cool. There you go.
I just have
There's
one
that.
more video of this guy in India.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's just meeting some fans.
Was it dreads?
No.
Here, I'll play it
Was it dreads?
No, it's my religion. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You be wild, bro. Was it dreads?
I was like, I don't know how great of a guy
You
this.
can't be that ignorant. You've never seen a good
And then he
kid
starts
before.
laughing at him, and
I think
I'm taking it personally because it's my culture, but
yeah. No, you can obviously get offended at that. I think maybe he was doing that intentionally. Maybe he knows the context of it. Am I assuming too much here?
yeah, I think he just thought it looked like a do-rag, and that's it. That's where it ended.
Yeah, then I can see how that's offensive for sure. Right?
But all right, let's move on.
Okay, so there's this guy named Lenny Pierce. He's a DJ, and what's different about him is that he does this thing called Toddler Techno. So he takes trending like songs for kids, so like the Wheels on the Bus, things like that, and then he just like makes them like EDM version.
No way.
That's
wild.
And then he goes around the country and puts on raves. So children come with their parents.
Oh my god!
So I have a clip of it. So
And
this
they're
is what
selling out
like.
the Rogers Center.
In the deep blue sea, you
Good
swim
joke.
so wild and you swim so free. Heaven above and the sea below.
And yeah, like he's like going on tour in Australia, in like North America, and like he's going pretty viral. Like his like videos on TikTok and YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
Like kids and parents are loving it.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about this? And would you be open to trying this out with your daughter?
Some kid songs hit.
Yeah.
Some Louis songs are so good. And they have like EDM versions of it on YouTube and stuff. So, or like there's one like a hip hop. I think it's called Gabby something, and she'll make all hip hop. Like she'll put trap on every song.
Wow.
Yo, they sound so good. Me and my daughter dance to it all the time.
And that's why I think like she would love this rave.
She would
Like
love
she's
it.
dancing queen. She would love it.
I support the rave part of it.
That's
Like with
weird,
the-
right?
The flashing lights.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe they don't have them. Maybe because they do it towards toddlers.
I don't know. It looks like it in the video.
Yeah, that one kid had the
right?
Yeah, like what are you encouraging at such a young age, right? You're normalizing raves.
But then are you just encouraging, because kids love dancing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's just that.
It's just fun.
Dancing party.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll take our daughter to it, but
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be like severely against it. Like, oh my god, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Right. But like at the same time, I don't know. It's like I feel like the conversation is gonna be like when she gets older, like, hey, no, you're not allowed to go to that, right?
Yeah. You shouldn't be going to raves. She's gonna be like, I've been doing them since I was 2.
Like, what do you?
I can't go to them now.
Yeah, but these are different. Your parents are there with you.
Yeah. I mean, whatever works, I guess. Like to make things
Clearly,
popular,
he's selling out places. He's clearly doing well.
Yeah, because I think if you have kids, if you can sell to the kids' parents, they're the people who are buying and spending the money, right?
Exactly.
which is very easily done.
Yeah.
Like, what did we buy at that Bluey show? This asparagus.
Oh yeah.
So
The
stupid.
magic
It was like
asparagus.
$50.
Sprinkle some lights and it's like a little fan.
Oh my god.
But look at this DJ. He's like killing it. Like there's so much money in
He said he
children's
sold out, right?
entertainment. Yeah. And you know, he's the twin brother of the Purple Wiggles guy.
Oh,
You know, like-
yeah.
So they're all just trying to capitalize on the child
Wow.
entertainment.
Wiggle.
The Wiggles?
The show.
Children?
It's like
Like Barney?
no, it's like real people.
They're real people.
Oh.
They're like Miss Rachel, but like
Oh.
I think
I mean, these guys make money, man.
Yeah.
yeah,
Huh?
they're Australian.
I think they're Australian.
Yeah, I feel like one company owns a lot of them. Like came in, bought out a bunch of them,
Okay.
and then resold them and made like a
Oh,
shit
like
ton of
Blippi
money.
and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like 5 or 6 of them they bought and then resold it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Might be fake news, but I read it somewhere.
This guy has a whole playlist of like songs featuring Blippi.
That's wild.
Yo, Blippi has good songs too.
Check out his YouTube.
All right. Okay, let's go to our last story. So we love 50 Cent, right? We find him some
Yeah.
He made a little bit of a parody.
Okay.
Let's watch it.
It's a rare condition this day and age to demand a freak off with so much rage.
Oh no!
Stranger's addiction.
Oh no!
You'll never find some people
Looks like Laura.
that he's losing his mind. Well, then there must be some magic.
Wow, the car.
Wanna show? Cause all I see is a chocolate thing.
Oh, that.
Posted on everything.
No, they got
It's the biggest break of
The bodyguard, maybe?
Oh, I think that's the escort.
Oh my god.
This seems too much, man.
I think he should do stand up.
Yeah.
Right?
It's funny.
It'd be so good.
But Family Matters, such a good show.
Such a good.
You guys all watch it?
Yeah.
Oh, I never did. It's
Really?
old, right?
It is
Yeah,
older.
it is.
It is older. It was
I still love
so
Family
good.
too.
Even
Yeah.
my parents like that show.
Yeah, no, it was a cool show.
Classic.
Yeah, Steve Urkel. Did I do that?
Okay, let's move on to the question.
Okay, so for the question segment, we'll start off with this ranking question. So rank the following 5 ice cream flavors without knowing what's next. So the first one is mint chocolate chip.
I like mint chocolate.
I like, but you hate it.
No, but
I know it's not a popular
Let's do,
one.
let's do like the popular vote.
Should we do 3?
I think the middle's good.
3. 3.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the next one is vanilla.
That's 5, man. That has to be 5.
Really?
It's solid though.
But it's like
The
the
versatility, it's the base of everything.
isn't it what ice cream originates from?
But do you want that? Is that ever your go-to? I choose
Doesn't everything start off as vanilla?
The chicken or the egg? That's what you think is going on here?
I don't
No, it doesn't.
You don't get
Man,
to add shit to it.
You
Make it
think like
chocolate.
you think there's a yeah?
It's just vanilla. Are you gonna go and say I want vanilla?
Yeah,
That's true.
No, right? French vanilla.
5.
Yeah.
5 or 4.
Not fun. You can't put
4, fine. 4.
4.
All right.
Okay, the next one is chocolate.
You think vanilla is better than chocolate?
Well, it started as vanilla.
No, I think
I would say 1.
I like chocolate. 1?
Oh, really?
Just
Love
What if there's like birthday cake?
just
You
plain
love birthday
chocolate?
cake.
Yeah,
We're so fat. Just plain chocolate.
we know all the flavors, man.
Fine, 2.
2?
Yeah,
Sure.
2.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is cookies and cream.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like
We only have 5 or 1.
I like cookie dough.
Either one. Yeah, so like Oreo.
1.
1.
One.
Just
1.
make it 1, sure.
Okay, last one, number 5, strawberry.
Oh,
Oh, perfect.
garbage.
At least
I like strawberry.
Yeah, I remember
Strawberry.
there was a period of time.
It's okay.
Him as a kid, he used to love strawberry.
I do. I still
Like
like
that 3 flavor one. He used to like.
Oh,
eat the
Yeah,
strawberry.
he used to love that.
Neapolitan.
Yeah.
He's like, get the name right.
I still
Oh
like
my
that. I would
God.
eat any of those.
Yeah,
I think ice cream is just great.
who hates ice cream?
Yeah.
I would never eat strawberry.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah. But who? Yeah.
So last question. So it's going to be, how many years are you willing to go without the following? 4 things. The years are 3, 6, 9, 12 years.
Shorten them a bit. Okay.
Yeah, I shortened them after your feedback from last time. So the first thing is pen and paper. The second thing is using your phone camera. The third thing is not leaving Canada. And the fourth thing is without new shoes. So how many years for each of those?
Pen and paper's less.
Right?
3, 6,
the
9,
longest
12.
time.
That's 12 years. Right?
12 years without pen and paper.
Yeah.
Why do I need pen and paper?
I use it a lot.
For what?
Can you get away without using it though? Like
I would get
typing on your
annoyed. Like
phone?
I always write things down. I have
Okay,
a big
now-
calendar.
You can't take pictures.
What if I forget?
Okay, what if your shoes?
Fine, whatever. We could do whatever you want. I was thinking shoes last.
Yeah, but lifetime. If you're running and your shoes wear out, and now you're barefooted.
It's not lifetime, isn't it?
12 years is the longest.
12
So
years
it's
without
12
having
years
new
is the
shoes.
length.
Without having new shoes.
Yeah.
Your feet aren't going to grow anymore.
Yeah,
No,
they
but
can
you
get
think your
worn
shoes
out.
are wear out?
All the shoes you have, you don't just have one.
Yeah, you just
So
can't
you
buy
just don't get a
shoes
new one.
Yeah.
for 12 years.
So we have camera. You can't leave Canada.
You do pen and paper. That's
shoes.
fine.
Pen and papers last. You're
Pen
the
and
only
paper's
one that
12
thinks
years.
that pen and paper. Pen and paper's 12 years.
And
so
then shoes will be 9.
9 years.
And then
Yeah.
what do we got left?
Taking a
Camera.
picture with your phone.
And leaving the country.
Mm-hmm.
I think phone is the most important, man.
I agree.
Yeah.
I could do a couple years without leaving the country.
Yeah.
6?
So 3 for a phone.
Is 3 6?
Kinda is 6.
6. Yeah.
And that's
So-
not bad.
Yeah, you can still travel within Canada.
Yeah, you can go to Banff.
Yeah. Apparently, it's better than Vegas and Florida, man. You know, Canada's great. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. And with that, it's a wrap. We'll catch you guys next week. Remember, we're not experts on anything. You guys should always do your own research.
Take care, everybody.